You're not supposed to like this gun. It doesn't come from Austria or Germany. It doesn't have the polished name or a fancy MOS variant. Hell, most folks laugh when they see it on a shelf. But I shot it, then I shot it again, and that's when it started to piss me off because it actually worked. This ugly, awkward, weird-looking 9mm pistol did something a lot of $700 guns couldn't. It survived, it fired, it stayed on target, and it made me question every damn thing I thought I knew about what makes a gun worth it. So screw the brand names, forget the hype. Today, we're digging into the one weird 9mm handgun that shouldn't work, but absolutely does. And I'm telling you right now, you're not ready for it. The Ruger Security 9 might be the least exciting pistol I've ever picked up. No flashy slide cuts, no aggressive grip texture, no Gucci trigger or optics ready flex. It's just plain. The kind of pistol you forget exists until you see it sitting in a gun case next to a stack of Mossberg shotguns. And that's not why nobody talks about it. Because in a world where everyone's chasing the latest P365 variant or $1,500 Walther, the Security 9 looks like the guy at the party standing quietly in the corner. But here's the thing. My buddy Ricky from the Springtown Police Department swears by his. And Ricky's not the type to chase hype. He carries what works, period. When I asked him why the Security 9, he just shrugged and said, because it goes bang every single time. And that's when I realized that's the whole point. I ran it myself. Range trash, steel case, hollow points, didn't matter. It kept running. No drama, no surprises, no failure stories. Just consistent reliability in the most boring package possible. And maybe that's why it deserves a spot on this list. Because in a world full of pistols fighting to look tactical and flashy, the Security 9 proves you don't need to be sexy to be dependable. Ask any young shooter about 1911s and you'll hear the same thing. Boomer gun, too heavy, too old, low capacity. And I get it. I used to laugh too until I got older and realized there's a reason old shooters won't shut up about them. But a 1911 in 9mm from Turkey for under $500, that sounded like pure comedy. I only bought the Tisas 1911 to roast it. Figured it'd be the perfect meme gun. Clunky, ratty, and broken before I go through the first box of ammo. But then I shot it, and that's when things got weird. The slide ran smooth, the trigger, clean break, better than pistols I paid double for. The recoil, stupid soft in 9mm, and the groups, tight. Embarrassingly tight compared to my striker-fired carry guns. I kept waiting for it to fail, but it never did. Round after round, it just ran. Reliable, solid, shockingly good. And here's the part that stings. It cost me under $500. That's less than half of what I've blown on pistols it outshot. So yeah, young shooters will still clown it. They'll call it a boomer's gun or a budget mean pistol. But me, I walked away pissed off because the Tisas 1911 9mm actually worked. I wanted to roast it, but instead, I ended up respecting it, and I'll still be mad about that. Beretta's got this habit of making pistols nobody asked for. First, the PX4 Storm, a space blaster with ears sticking out of the side. Everybody laughed at it, including me, until it just refused to die. Then they doubled down with the APX A1 Carry, another who wanted this gun. Tiny, blocky, Lego slide serrations. It looked like a prop gun from a low-budget action movie. I figured this thing was Beretta's way of screaming, "Hey, can we be Glock too?" And honestly, I thought it was gonna flop. I was ready to call it Beretta's second mistake, but here's the thing. It wasn't. I carried it. It disappeared better than my Glock 43X, shot it side by side with a Hellcat Pro, and the little APX actually held its own. Trigger was crisp, reset sharp, reliability solid. Nothing fancy, but nothing failed either. And that's when it hit me. Beretta didn't just build this pistol to impress anyone, they built it to work. No hype, no frills, just boring consistency. So yeah, it still looks like Lego left their toy in my holster, but like the PX4 Storm before it, the joke was on me. Beretta's mistakes? Turns out they weren't mistakes at all. I only bought this Stoeger shit for one reason. It was cheap, like stupid cheap. $300 with night sights and extra mags in the box. That's the kind of deal that usually means junk. I figured I'd burn a few boxes of ammo through it, confirm that it sucked, and throw it back on the trade-in counter. But then came the training course. When I brought my trusty Glock 19 with me, my buddy showed up as well with his bargain bin Stoeger. I roasted him all morning, called it the Walmart Glock, told him it would fold before lunch, but halfway through the drills, the punchline flipped. His Stoeger was still chewing through mags like they were nothing, and my Glock was on the bench half disassembled because it started choking on steel case. I'm over there swapping parts and cussing while the guy I just roasted is running clean strings with his $300 knockoff. That stunk. So I grabbed one myself just to see if his was a fluke. Ran steel, hollow points, dirty ammo. The thing refused to quit. The finish wore quick. The trigger's pretty average, but performance rock solid. And here's the part I still hate to admit. The gun I trusted the least, it made me question the one I trusted the most. The Stoeger STR-9C. Call it the Walmart Glock if you want, but that day, the cheap gun embarrassed the king. So, are you still calling it a Walmart Glock, or does it finally earn a spot? Steel frame. Looks weird. I thought Walther had lost their minds, but the first time I ran it, I found a real beast out of the cage. Huh? Walther released the PDP steel frame, and it literally slapped all these little polymer Berettas. Heavy as hell, sure, but that weight kills recoil. The slide runs flat, the sights just float there, and the trigger? Glock fans are not gonna like this, but Walther gave us the trigger Glock should have built 20 years ago. Clean wall, crisp break, stupid fast reset. I told myself, yeah, cool. Another range diva. Probably shoots about as good as it looks. Awful. But the first mag made me mad because this big goofy looking diva slapped every polymer pistol I owned. I ran it next to my Glock 19 and it was embarrassing. My Glock felt like a squirt gun. The PDP steel made me shoot faster, cleaner, and flatter than I thought I could. And yep, it costs double what a Glock does, but for once, I walked away thinking maybe it's worth it. So call it weird, call it a diva, call it too heavy, but the Walther PDP steel frame proved me wrong. Turns out, the joke was on me. Would you actually carry a diva like this, or leave it as a range queen? Next up is one of the strangest pistols I've ever owned. The Grand Power P1 MK12. Slovakian name, rotating barrel, looks like a budget knockoff you'd find on the bottom shelf of a pawn shop. First time I pulled it out at the range, the guy started laughing. One dude said it looked like a PX4 Storm's weird cousin. Another said it looked like something you'd win at a carnival. Nobody wanted to touch it. So I loaded it up, figuring, hey, at least we'd all get a good laugh out of it. But when I started shooting, it wasn't funny anymore. The trigger, cleaner than half the Glocks on the table. Cleaner than half the Glocks on the table. Reset was sharp and crisp. Recoil, flatter than my Glock 19, and I'm not even exaggerating. This thing stayed on target like it was glued there. Pretty soon, the same guys clowning it were asking, "Hey, let me try that thing." And when they did, you could see the look on their face. Confusion, then respect. It ran everything. Cheap steel case, hollow points, no jams. Groups were stupid tight, and by the end of the trip, the whole range went quiet. The joke gun had shut everybody up. It ran everything. Grand Power P1 MK12. It's weird, it's ugly, it looks like a gimmick, but it humbled me and everybody else who laughed at it. So let me know, would you trust the Slovakian oddball, or are you still clutching your Glock? The Canik Mete MC9 doesn't even know what it wants to be. Pick it up and you'll see Glock in the grip, SIG in the trigger, Hellcat in the profile. It's like the kid who copied everybody's homework and somehow still passed the class. A Franken gun with a full-blown identity crisis. And at first, I thought that made it a joke. I figured if you're borrowing from everyone else, you can't actually be good at anything. But here's the crazy part. That mix and match DNA is what made it work. The trigger has that SIG-like snap, the recoil's softer than my Hellcat Pro, the ergos feel smoother than my Glock 43X. It doesn't pick a lane, but somehow it beats everyone in theirs. It ran dirty, fed it range trash, even carried it longer than I wanted to admit. And the whole time I was thinking, this gun shouldn't be this good. The MC9 doesn't have its own identity, but maybe it doesn't need one, because stealing from the best made it better than it had any right to be. Call it confused, call it a clone, call it even a Franken gun, but the Canik Mete MC9 taught me one thing. Sometimes identity crisis shoots just fine. Now let's talk Taurus G3C. Oh yeah, the people's champ. Cheap, compact, and all over YouTube with guys swearing it's the Glock killer for half the price. And maybe for some guys, it is. I've heard it runs solid for a lot of shooters. They love it and they defend it like it's their firstborn child. But my G3C? Pure garbage. Jammed on me right out of the box. Stovepipes, failures to feed, you name it. It turned every range trip into a clearance drill practice session. I kept thinking, am I the stupid one here? Because everybody else swears this gun is reliable. And that's why I had put it on this list. Because either I got a lemon of all lemons, or Taurus pulled one of the biggest magic tricks in the gun world. For me, it's an illegal stupid. A compact pistol that couldn't even get through a mag without making me swear. But for everyone else, they'll tell you it's the best budget carry piece on the market. And honestly, that pisses me off even more. I'm gonna be honest with you. The only reason I shot the IWI Masada Slim was because a shop guy shoved it in my hand. I wasn't looking for it, and I didn't even ask for it. In fact, I'd walked past it a dozen times before without a second thought. First impression? Felt decent. Slim frame, good texture, not bad in the hand, but I figured it was just another Glock 43X wannabe, nothing special. So I did something different. Instead of babying it, I tried to kill it. I carried it in the summer heat, sweat all over it, tossed it in the truck, left it overnight in the dust, loaded it with the cheapest steel case I could find, and ran it dry without oiling. If it was gonna choke, I wanted it to choke on my watch. But here's the part that really pissed me off. It never did. Week after week, it just kept running. The slide stayed smooth, the trigger stayed crisp, and even when I was half convinced it would jam, it didn't. My Glock 43X had already given me malfunctions with the same type of ammo, but the Slim never did. And that's when it hit me. This was supposed to be the disposable gun, the experiment. Instead, it proved itself more reliable than the pistol I actually trusted. The Masada Slim didn't just survive my abuse, it earned a spot I never thought I'd give it. In fact, it made my Glock ride the bench for a while. Let me know if you own this handgun and what's so special about it that you like it. Don't laugh. It's the Beretta PX4 Storm. Yeah, like an actual storm in the middle of the desert. It looks like a space blaster straight out of a bad sci-fi movie. Chunky slide, goofy lines, safety levers sticking out like ears. I used to walk past it in gun shops without a second glance. Figured it was for guys who bought judge revolvers and high points, but here's the thing. I shot one and it refused to die. First range trip, I dumped 500 rounds through it in a single day. Everything from cheap steel case to hollow points I'd been hoarding. It ate all of it, clean, zero malfunctions. And then I meet this guy at a training course. Tells me he's got 10,000 rounds through his PX4. Same rotating barrel, same goofy grip. Swore it was the softest shooting 9mm he'd ever owned. Watching him run drills, I started to believe him. The thing stayed flat like it was cheating physics. Now look, I still think it's ugly as hell. Not sleek like your Glock, not refined like a SIG, but don't judge a book by its cover, because this thing actually shoots better than my Hellcat Pro, and ugly guns don't usually survive this long. But the PX4, it's still here, still kicking, still running smoother than it has any right to. Call it a space gun, call it weird, but the Beretta PX4 Storm actually works, and it works damn well. So what do you think? Ugly genius, or still just a space toy? The so-called legend. Fanboys worship it like it's sacred, like you're not a real shooter until you've kissed the steel. Let's be real. This thing is a dinosaur. Heavy as a brick, double action trigger that feels like dragging a chain through gravel, and an outdated design that should have been buried years ago. Every modern polymer pistol has already left it in the dust, but the cult still writes essays about natural ergonomics and old school reliability. Please. If a gun's biggest flex is history, it belongs in a museum, not on your hip. And yet, here's the ugly truth. The damn thing still works. Recoil, stupid soft. Accuracy, tight. Reliability, solid enough to embarrass pistols half its weight and twice the hype. I wanted to laugh it off, call it dead weight, a steel coffin for guys stuck in the past, but when you actually run it, the joke flips fast. Sometimes the guns we laugh at the hardest are the ones that refuse to quit, and that's exactly what makes the CZ75B dangerous. Keep mocking it, call it outdated, call it irrelevant, just don't act surprised when this so-called relic outshoots the pistol you swore was better, because sometimes the dinosaur still bites. So, what do you say? Is the 75B a relic that should have been buried, or a fighter still earning respect in 2025? Drop it below. I'm ready for the fanboys. But that's not the end. The next one will burst wide open. Ready for it? A tiny 380 Glock that half the gun world laughed at. Too small, too weak, too boring. Most shooters walked right past it on the shelf. Hell, even I did. But here's the truth nobody likes to admit. The 42 just works. It's the softest shooting pocket pistol I've ever run. It disappears in a holster, it disappears in a pocket, and when you actually need it, it goes bang every single time. Is 380 the superior caliber? Nope. But reliability you can actually carry every day? That counts. The Glock 42 may be the Glock everyone forgot about, but the people who actually carry it know the secret. It's boring, it's tiny, and it might just be the smartest backup pistol Glock ever built. So here's the question. Would you rather have boring and bulletproof, or flashy and fragile? You looked at it and thought, that Micro 9 from Ruger? But here's the thing. This tiny 3.2-inch pistol whispered something the others couldn't. I carry heavy with none of the weight. It's weird because Ruger pulled off what most thought was impossible, a full-size mindset shrunk into a subcompact frame. 12+1 rounds, optic-ready slide, cold hammer-forged barrel. You didn't pick it because it looked badass, you picked it because it worked when you needed it, not just at the range, but in the dump-hot gear abuse, let's see if it collapses tests. Is it awkward looking? Yeah, I suppose. Bulky? Maybe by Microdyne standards. But you know what that says about you? You don't judge by appearance, you judge by rounds fired and the Max 9 stacked up. You carry something that others called experimental, and you smiled behind your rig because you already know. This weird little 9mm doesn't ask to be trusted, it demands it. And if it's your favorite, that says you don't follow rules, you rewrite them. Look, I didn't expect to say this. I wanted to hate it. I planned on roasting it, but the damn thing held its own. It may not be perfect, it's not even pretty, but it works. And in a world of overpriced junk and marketing lies, that means something. Now, would I carry it? Maybe. Would I trust it over a $900 tactical masterpiece? That's where the conversation gets interesting. Drop a comment if you shot one, owned one, or wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I want to hear it all. This is your boy Steve, and I'll be catching you all next time.